Hi everyone, this is Rob here at the Geek Show Podcast Network. We're at SunnyCon in St. James's Park. It's a beautiful day. It's 2018 and I'm here with Sharon-Mi Lee.
Hello.
And I pronounced it correctly.
You did pronounce it correctly. Well done.
I have heard that a lot of people have been calling you Cherami.
It's different every convention I go to. Chris Sabat, which I think he came to SunnyCon the first year SunnyCon was a convention.
We interviewed him.
He likes to tell people how to mispronounce my name, and he gives them a different pronunciation each time. So sometimes he will refer to me as Cherami Lee. Or whatever. So I always know when Sabat's been here first because I have a different pronunciation.
Well, he is a card. We've started kind of regarding him as the Prince Philip of the voice acting community.
Oh, okay.
You know, he goes to places, he says things which may or may not cause a disturbance.
That's probably true. With all the voice actors, I feel like we're one big family. We have crazy aunts and uncles and little brothers and little sisters, and everybody has their own personality and everybody messes with each other, but we're all one big family, which is pretty great.
Okay, so is Chris one of the...
He's probably one of the crazy uncles.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
He fits that. So where would you fit in the voice acting family?
Oh, I don't know. When I started, I started voice acting when I was 7, and then I started working at Funimation when I was 18. So I was always the little sister that everybody played tricks on because I was very gullible and they would mess with me. And I thought as I got older, maybe I would age out of that, and at some point they'd start treating me like an adult. But I think just like it is with my family, if you're the first grandchild or you're the first sister, once the sister, always the sister. So even though we keep getting new young voice actors in, I'm still the baby. I don't know how that works. They still treat me like the crazy little sister I get messed with all the time.
Yeah, I got that. I'm the youngest in my family.
Oh, okay.
I've had that all my life. It's something it
never goes away. Yeah.
It never disappears. Doesn't matter where you are. So you said you started at 7.
Yeah.
That's a very young age to start voice acting.
Yeah. Well, I started acting when I was 5 or 6. I wanted to be on Barney, and that was my 5-year-old lifelong goal and dream for my career.
5-year-old lifelong goals.
Yeah. And it didn't happen, but I somehow convinced my parents to get me an agent. They tried really hard to dissuade me from getting into the industry because it's such a tough business to be in, especially that young. But I told them I wanted to do the work, and they kept putting me in classes and trying to show me how hard it was, and it only made me more excited and more passionate about it. So they decided to get on board and let me try it. And I got an agent, and then was going to commercial auditions as a kid. And the adult division of the agency had been doing voiceover commercials and I guess some narration and things like that. And they contacted her and said, we need a 3-year-old to carry a campaign for 7-Eleven, which is, I guess, sort of like a Tesco here.
We're familiar with 7-Eleven.
Oh.
There's not 7-Elevens up here, but there are down in London.
Oh, great. Okay. So I had to do 5 or 6 different commercials talking about how they made Slurpees and how they made donuts. And it was a very elaborate kid imaginative way of how these things were made. And they needed a 3-year-old's voice, but most 3-year-olds can't read. So 7-year-old me, they put me in a closet and we recorded it on a cassette tape, put the cassette tape in an envelope and rushed it over to the studio, and I got the job. And that tells you how long ago that was, because everything was done on cassette tapes and DAT tapes when I worked at Radio Disney. So now you just record it into some digital file and email it. You don't have to get in a car and race it over in an envelope. So.
Cassette tapes, I remember that.
Yeah. You have to record in your tape recorder. If you mess it up, you're in big trouble because you'd have to cut the actual tape and edit it that way.
Thing where a song would come on the radio and you'd have to record it off the radio.
Oh, yeah.
You'd try and time it so you didn't get the radio announcer, you just got the song.
I remember I was so excited when my mom got me. It was such a great Christmas. I got a really nice boombox that had a dual deck tape player.
Oh, yes.
So I could record onto the tape. And it had 3 different CD options. So I could just skip to the next CD option. And I think it was probably something that my mom found on sale through, she's a dance teacher. So one of the studios was closing. And I think they were like, we got to get rid of this sound system. And my mom was like, oh, I'll get it for my daughter for Christmas. So, but I remember I was like, I am so fancy. I can have 3 CDs at one time and 2 tapes. And now you don't have any cassette tapes anymore. Kids don't know what those are.
Yeah, they don't know what rewind means.
It's true. Yeah, Be Kind Rewind is not a thing anymore, is it?
Although it's actually a pretty good movie with Jack Black.
Yes, it is a great movie.
It was such a bizarre film as well.
Yeah, he's great though. I love him so much. As weird as his roles might be, he's really great at keeping the heart there.
Yeah.
Which, no matter how quirky his characters might seem, you just love them. They're so endearing because he always makes the heart first and foremost, which I really, really, really enjoy about his acting.
I liked him in Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah, he was really fun in that.
Although I've got to say, Downey stole Tropic Thunder.
100%. 100%. I saw that with a friend of mine, and he said, this movie is so weird and very irreverent. And I said, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's very funny. They're all such genius comedians.
Exactly. And only Downey could pull that off as well.
Only Downey could pull that off. Although I don't even know if Downey could pull that off in this day and age.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would get away with it at this point.
This is true.
We're living in a different time and place.
Yes. Anyway, back to the main topic, which is you, not Downey.
That's cool. We could talk about Robert Downey Jr. all day. He's one of my favorites.
Are you listening, Robert?
Yes. I want to work with you. Please, let me be your adopted daughter in Iron Man. I would like to be Iron Girl. Is that a thing? Can we make it a thing?
Actually, there is an Iron Girl.
Is there really?
She's called Riri Williams. She is African American, and she
How
she goes
cool.
by the name Iron Heart.
Iron Heart.
Yes.
At what point in the comics does she show up?
I think it was a couple of years ago she showed up in the Marvel comics.
So it's very, very recent
it was
then.
after Tony Stark supposedly died, and
Ooh.
Tony Stark's mother turns up, and she takes over Stark Industries, and Riri Williams has made her own Iron Man suit in her garage, and she becomes Ironheart.
Oh, I'm so excited about this. Well, then I take it all back. I do not want that role. I just want some beautiful unknown actress who's super talented. That sounds really exciting. I don't want Tony Stark to die. Maybe he can just retire, and then we get that storyline. That sounds really exciting.
It's Marvel Comics. He comes back to life.
I mean, he has to.
Yes.
What we have to have. Iron Man cannot die. You know who my favorite is, clearly. Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Black Panther are my favorites.
I wonder, does that have something to do with the actors or the characters themselves?
Well,
Because
the actors are incredible, and they definitely have brought them to life in such an iconic way. And Benedict Cumberbatch and I do share a birthday, so I'm waiting for our joint birthday party invitation, whenever you're available, Sir Cumberbatch. But I think the characters themselves are really, really cool.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's the characters
Doctor
or
Strange
the
has
actors.
taken a bit of a strange turn as well, pardon the phrasing, but
Yeah.
in the current Doctor Strange one, it's the Sorceress Supreme, and apparently magic is dead. And so he's basically functioning off what's left.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
There's a lot going on in the
excited.
comics. And some of it's very weird. We deal a lot with comics.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Being the Geek Show, we deal a lot with comics and manga and video games and anime. But so I've got to ask, what got you started in anime?
Actually, I had been doing voiceover forever, working at Radio Disney, and then doing whatever cartoons or commercials came up. And I'd heard about Funimation for a couple of years, but as soon as I graduated from high school, it all timed out beautifully, and my agent got me an audition for a show called Peach Girl, and I thought that all anime was Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon.
You were in Peach Girl?
Yeah, that was my very first anime ever. I was Sai, the mean girl.
Yes. I recognize the voice now.
Yeah. And so that was Baby Jeremy, as they referred to me at the studio. And I remember looking at the animation and being like, this is so cool. I get to work on cartoons. This is fantastic. Because usually cartoons were just done in New York and LA. And so to find out that they had all of these cartoons happening in Texas was very exciting. But I remember talking to the director saying, so what is this? Because it's not anime, because anime is Pokemon, Sailor Moon, and Dragon Ball Z. And he said, oh, sweet Jeremy, just you wait. And I remember asking them, is there any way that we could do like this all the time? Like all of these cartoons? I mean, but we'll run out eventually. And he said, oh, sweet Jeremy, we will never run out.
No.
So like, I think I've been working with Funimation and in anime for a little over 10 years. And we still haven't run out of shows.
You won't.
They keep making new ones, which I'm very happy about, and it's been very interesting to see how the industry has changed. When I was in high school, the anime club was sort of like Fight Club. You would go into late at night after school and watch anime and talk about anime, but we never talked about it.
Yeah.
And then as I've progressed and spent time in this industry, now you could pick it up at Hot Topic, or I think somebody said here at Primark, and there's all this merchandise everywhere, and t-shirts, and people are proudly wearing them and talking about it everywhere. And you get in an Uber or a taxi, or you're at the airport and you mention anime. I used to say like, oh, I work in anime, and people would say, well, what's that? And now it's, oh, cool, what show? And so it's very cool to see how mainstream it's become, which is exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for people like me. I grew up being a fan of anime before I even knew what the word was.
Yeah.
Before people in the UK knew the word anime. When I grew up, I think the first cartoons I watched were things like Speed Racer and
cool, yeah,
and things like that. The first actual anime movie I ever watched was Laputa, Castle in the Sky.
Oh, cool!
I love that movie. Mind you, I am a massive Ghibli fan anyway. So.
I mean, who isn't? Those films are beautiful.
But I mean, now that Miyazaki has supposedly retired again, maybe, we're not sure. I think it's the state of Schrodinger's Miyazaki. We're not sure what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's sort of, Stan Lee as well when he goes to Comic-Cons. He's like, this is my last convention, and like Miyazaki's like, this is my last movie, and then they wait a couple months and they're like, you know what? I want to do this again. I want to go out and do. I think they're going to be doing it as long as they possibly can, and I am so grateful for that. They're iconic in their industry. I mean, the industry is what it is because of their talent and their genius and their contribution. So they could do whatever they want. If they want to retire for a couple months, I will gladly welcome them back when they're ready to come back. Absolutely.
So, okay, final question. What is the best show you've worked on? What is your favorite anime?
Oh, it's so hard. I love being an actor, and when I started being an actor, I didn't really know what it was that drew me to it and what I wanted to do. And people say, what is the pinnacle of success for you? When you have done this, when will you say like, oh, I've made it. I think I can stop doing this. And I don't think I will ever get to that point because I just love telling stories. So anytime I get to go to work and jump into a character's shoes that I would look at on paper and say, this is nothing like me. And then after a couple of hours, I find out we have more in common than I could have ever imagined. And finding that common connection with human beings, and then getting to travel the world and get to talk to people that speak different languages, or live in a different country, have a different culture than I do, and we bond over the same character and we find out how similar we are. It sort of, for me, reminds me that we are all one and we're all connected. And I have experienced that phenomenon with every single show that I've worked on. So to pick a favorite feels like I would be saying that the experiences I've had because of the other characters is not as great. And I've had a really fantastic moment where I feel like my characters have taught me something about myself with every single one of them. So I love each of them. My directors have been fun. I love my job every day. I have one moment where I will probably laugh and cry in the same session, either because I'm so happy or I'm so moved, or I'm just thrilled to be working with these wonderful creative people. So it's hard to pick one show that means the most to me.
Okay, maybe a slight rephrasing then. Which show has the biggest impact on you?
Ooh, I can say which show, maybe not the biggest impact on me, but that I've gotten to play a character the longest. And that would probably be Fairy Tale. That's the first time I've ever gotten to play the same character for hundreds of episodes. Sailor Moon is getting close, working with Sailor Venus. We've been doing that for 4 years. But with Fairy Tale, I've been playing Lucy for almost 8 years. So to get to say that I have been living with a character for almost a decade is kind of mind-blowing to me. And I'm so happy that more and more of the shows are spanning more than 26 episodes, because you just feel like you get to know them and then you have to say goodbye. But now everybody is accepting anime and wanting to see more episodes, and it's showing up on Netflix and Hulu and streaming sites. And so production companies are more willing to do more than the 26 episodes. So hopefully in a couple of years I can come back and there will be another character that I could say I've played this character for 7 or 8 years, but that's definitely the longest I've gotten to spend with a character, which has been really cool.
Fantastic. Okay, Jeremy.
Yes, thank you.
For spending this time with us.
Absolutely.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's great to talk with you.